Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will try to explore what are Databricks and we will explore on preparing dashboard in Databricks. So let's get started. So once you log in, like over here I have actually logged in. You can just use your Gmail account or you can also use your Microsoft account. So when you click login over here, so they will ask you about your email, whether you want to use your Gmail or Microsoft account. So apparently I'm going to use this particular account over here. So once you access to Databricks, so in this case what I want to do is I actually want to prepare a dashboard in my Databricks. So what I'm going to do is over here we have the workspace. So like how do we have like Microsoft Fabric workspace, the same thing. So Databricks has the same thing. So you can actually create your workspace, whether you can create a dashboard, up to you. And on the home over here we do have this data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload my data over here, and this data, if they say you have saved in your drive, whether it's in your documents, your desktop or your downloads, what you'll do is you just press browse. The moment you press browse, like I mentioned, a box will appear and it depends on where you save. So in this case, I save in my desktop and we are going to use the file of Apple Sales Database, and I'm going to press open. So once I press open, eventually it will actually pop it out over here. So now what you're looking is, you're looking at an Excel file which has a database of Apple sales. Like we have the date column, Apple product categories, sales method, continent, countries, cities, Apple product models and sales. So what we do is we basically imported the data from the drive to this Databricks, and of course they will actually access which particular worksheet we want to choose, what range we want to select, whether we want to tick the first row contain the header, and what is our schema name, what is our table name, and so on. So if you notice carefully, we also have the understanding what type of data. So basically, since this is a date column, so they show is a timestamp, and over here is Apple product category, so apparently they show just string. So this is basically how we can actually understand what type of data we have. Then what we do is we just create table. So the moment we create table is basically we are importing this data and putting it into the workspace, and then based on the given data, what we can actually do is we can actually prepare dashboard. So what I'm going to do is, let me just close this file. So this is the file that I have. So eventually what happened is, once I actually imported the data, I close the file, eventually the data will be imported over here. Then the next step what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my dashboard. So once I go to my dashboard, I can actually create a dashboard based on the given data. So let me just click it over here. So once I click over here, you will notice that here we have untitled page, here we have data. Untitled page is basically where we will create the visualization, and the data over here is where we can actually import data. So if you notice carefully, here we have upload file, and then over here we have create from SQL and so on. So what I want to do is I want to create add data from source, because initially if you remember what happened was I import the data to my workspace, so it's already over here, and this is my workspace, and then I'm going to press confirm. So once I press confirm, eventually the data set is over here. So this is the SQL and so on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the untitled page. You can actually rename this. You can rename this as Apple Sales Dashboard. Okay, so now we have already renamed this. So what's the next step? The next step is, this is where we can create the visuals and show the dashboard. So over here we have a visualization icon. So let me just click it over here. Once I click it over here, I can just draw anywhere I want. So let me just draw over here. So this is the visual. Let me put this over here. Okay, what is so interesting is it is up to you to choose what visualization you want, whether you want area, bar, box, map, combo or counter. I'm going to choose a simple one, which is counter. Once I choose counter, what is the value? The value will be based on my sales USD. So over here it will actually show me what is the sales USD and what is the detail and so on. So you can actually adjust the size accordingly. So I can just adjust this, and then the next thing is I also want to create another visual. So what is my next visual is, my next visual, maybe I want to show the performance of the product. So what I'll do is over here, instead of just bar, let me just choose pivot. Okay, so when I click pivot, basically it represents like the metrics, the pivot table of Excel and the metrics of Power BI. So when I click pivot over here, so like matrix, we have row, columns, value, same like how about pivot table. So the same thing over here. So in this case, what I want is maybe I want the Apple product categories. So over here will show me the Apple product categories, and the values I want the sales USD. So here will show me the sales USD. And if just say you want to format the number, you can just click over here. You can go to format, and then over here you can just choose custom, or maybe you want to choose in the form of currency, and up to you whether you want the currency in US dollar or ringgit Malaysia. And if just say you want 1000 separator, group separator, you can click it over here, so it will appear over here. And then if just say you want to actually sort, because you don't want to sort from Apple Watch alphabetical order, you can just click it over here, and then over here you can sort whether largest to smallest or smallest to largest and so on. So apparently what we can actually understand is, okay, based on the sales, we can understand that Apple product, iPhone dominates the market. And we can actually show many other fascinating visual. For example, if they say you want to create a pie chart. Okay, so let me just click the chart over here and put it over here. And this time I want to choose pie chart. So you can just scroll down and click on the pie chart. And the pie chart, maybe I want to know based on the sales USD. So we do have these details over here. And the coloring, the angle is basically depending on the sales method. So just let me click on sales method. So apparently we get to understand, okay, what is the details. And if you want to know the label, you just turn on the label. Over here will show us, okay, maybe 60% of the sales dominated by online payment, and then general order is about 27%. The remaining is Apple Watch. And you can actually arrange. That means we need to say, you can just click it over here. Okay, so you want to arrange maybe in alphabetical order. So let me just show how we can actually arrange. So I just click it over here. Okay, wait, let me just click this, click it over here, and we can just arrange maybe by arranging by alphabetical order or by field and so on. So from here we get to understand how's the performance and so on. Okay, so now we already have these visuals over here. Maybe the next visual that I want to show is, I want to show the visuals of the bar chart. Okay, the bar chart based on Apple product models. So what I'll do is, I'll just click on this visualization over here, and I'll draw here. Okay, so here we have a visualization bar chart. What I want to do is, for the bar chart, I want to show the x-axis as the sales USD, and the y-axis I want to show the Apple product models. So what happened is, from here we get to understand that what is the performance of Apple products, and we can adjust. So from here we understand, okay, this is the performance. And if just say you want to sort from largest to smallest, so you can just do what? Okay, let me just click over here, and by the field you can just click here, largest to smallest. So apparently we can understand. And if you want the data label, you can just click over here. From here we can get the understanding what's the label. And if you see you want field, you can click here field, and you can click here, you can just put your format, and you can put your custom, and then maybe you put here none. So from here we can get an understanding what is the details and so on. Okay, so here it shows us the performance. Here we have by products, here we have by categories, here we have by models. And interestingly, basically this visualization is more fascinating. We just can click over here, and let me just click this. We can also show the performance by products and also by the respective countries. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to click it over here, and let me choose heat map. Okay, so in map we have y-axis, x-axis, and the coloring. So what I want to do is, for the x-axis, I just want to choose maybe, okay, let me just choose on Apple product categories. And then for the y-axis, let me choose the countries. Okay, so now this is how it looks like. And then here we have the coloring and so on. So the coloring, maybe you want to choose based on the sum. So let me just put here, I want to know based on sum. Okay, so this is how it looks. So from here we can actually understand what is the details, how's the performance, and when we put the data label, we can understand better. So from here what we understand is, okay, Apple Watch, iPhone, MacBook, other accessories. So apparently the Indian market dominates the sales of Apple products, especially for iPhone and MacBook. And we can see for Malaysia, it dominates the Apple Watch product, and Australia dominate the other accessories. So this is actually how we can actually understand the data better. And if they say you want to show the monthly data, So you can click it over here and you draw another visual. Okay, so this visual, what you do is, maybe I want a bar chart, but the x-axis, what I do is I show the dates. So let me just click the date over here, and over here the y-axis, what I want is I want the sum of the sales. Okay, so now we have this, but I want in the proper format. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click this. So this is month, categorical. So when I click this, so this is what you see, and when I put the data label, this is what you see. So now this is basically a visualization whereby here it shows us the total sales. Here they shows us the sales method category. Here we have like, okay, what's the details of Apple products. Here is the like, you know, the performing of Apple product models, and here is the sales of each product for the respective countries, and here the sales from January up to December. Okay, and what is so beautiful, fascinating about this visual is, maybe let me start one by one. In this case, we notice that, okay, here the title shows sum of sales. So if you just say you don't want sum of sales, what you can do is you can click it over here and you can put here total sales by sales method. And just like that, you can change. You want to put here USD, up to you. Okay, so basically here we have the USD and so on. And yeah, there is how we can change. And the same thing we can actually do for the Apple product models as well. Of course, we can just change the name here. So here you can put here the total sales. And the coloring also, you can just change the coloring as well. So it's up to you. Basically, if you say you want the coloring for each Apple product categories. So for example, okay, the yellow color represents iPhone, the green color represents MacBook. But if you say you don't want, you want to show maybe the coloring based on, just say I click here, and I want to show based on sales USD. So we will have like a sequence. Okay, so that means the highest is iPhone Pro Max. So this is basically showing us a pattern to understand the data and so on. And you can just click this. You can put here the maybe the sales USD and so on. Okay, so this is how it works. So we have the country, we have the products, and so many things. And we can just click it over here. If you just say you don't want the sum of sales USD, what you can do is you can just, like what I mentioned, you can just change this to sales USD. There you go. Alright, so basically this is what it do. And of course, if you just say you want to actually put an annotation, you can actually put an annotation over here. And let me put a horizontal one. So this annotation like a threshold, and this threshold, as you can see over here, let me just scroll down, whether you want 110,000 or whether you want 150,000, up to you. So just say I put here 150,000 and we have a threshold. So we have a threshold, we can see, okay, whether in mid target or above average or below average and so on. So this is basically how you can actually create a visual in Databricks. So what we have is, we do have a table, we do have a performance, we do have a heat map, and we also have the performance from January to December. So just like Power BI, Databricks also can able to present and visualize data.